Hello, my loves. I hope that everyone's doing good. I just am watering plants, etc. outside and also doing some grounding with some mud. But I wanted to share and ask because I started thinking about the most random stuff, but it's not random at all. But I started thinking about past lives, our ancestors living in ancient times, ancient civilizations, and ancient structures, like the ancient structures of the Great Pyramids or Stonehenge or other stone circles, and ancient civilizations, megalith structures. Now, the reason why I'm recording this and asking and sharing is because I want to, seriously, this is serious, like memories of ancient past lives, maybe, or just intuitive knowledge, soul memory, soul knowledge. But, you know, we are here, many of us are here, right, to actually question history, to rewrite it, to bring truth to falseness, okay, and to narratives that were created, okay? And we can go all kinds of places with this. But the megalith structures that are literally, even in this modern time, like back then, like impossible to move such huge stone slabs, etc. Like humans couldn't do that, like you know what I mean? But the way that I see it and know it is a lot of this stuff, like in Atlantis, you know, for me, a lot of these megalith structures, they go way back to like those time periods, you know. And then it's like Atlantis, Lemuria, and then what about before Lemuria, you know what I mean? Like, anyways, you know, there's all these things, theories, opinions and theories. I want to say that very clearly because, you know, there's not a whole lot of factual facts or whatever, right? So, do you think that a lot of these megalith structures were built by the Galactics? Do you think they were built by the Anunnaki? Do you think they were created and built by the Nephilim? Or do you feel like we created that shit and the way that we did it was through telekinesis, through moving objects with our energy and third eye, with our mind, with our intention, with our energy? Because I know that that's a thing. I know that we did that. You know, I think in, what was it? The Horned Goddess with Dolores Cannon, like, that's like Druids and the Celtics and, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know. And she spoke of the woman, Karen, I think was her name, under hypnosis, like, her higher self was talking about, yeah, like, Stonehenge was built, like, by using our energy and moving it with our mind, which absolutely, right? You know, but here's the deal, like, and this is why it's like, it's good to observe and it's good to observe information, to feel into it always. Now, Dolores Cannon, her work is famous, absolutely famous. Everyone knows Dolores Cannon. Everyone knows, like, Dr. Wayne Dyer and, you know, all these, right? But I still will tune into things and be like, well, just because this is what was in the book or what was in the session or what this person is saying or that account is saying, you know, or whoever, I will always tap in with my own energy and intuition and psychic sight and stuff, you know, because there has been a lot of effort put in to implants, you know, like, you know, and those, and I'm not saying Dolores Cannon is one of the, I'm just saying there's been a lot of effort from the dark side to trick the light workers, to trick our consciousness, okay, and to make us believe what they want us to believe, right? And to just accept that as truth and fact, and that's it, right? And I'm like the polar opposite. Like, I've always been like this. I've always been like questioning why, or right? So just because you go and you see some spiritual person and some spiritual account, and they have, you know, they've written 3 books under their belt, and, you know, they have their own podcast, or you know, you watch a show, like, just because it is on TV or in a book or an audiobook or a podcast, or someone's talking about it on Instagram or whatever, and you look at the person and they're like, you know, this is my memories, and this is the truth of Atlantis, this is the truth of Lemuria, this is the truth of Egypt, this is the truth of everything that is and was and will ever be, you know. I'm still that person that's like, a lot of time, for sure, I'm like, yeah, that resonates for sure. That's awesome. That's awesome. And there's been so much information out there that has helped trigger more awakening, more past life memories. It's opened up like a lot of stuff for me, you know. But then again, there's like a lot of stuff that I'm just like, I'm going to go ahead and tune in on my own and see what I get with that, okay? You know, like, there's a lot of people out there that are just like, nope. Bottom line, the Egyptians were, you know, the Anunnaki came down. They were working with the Egyptians. They showed them how to farm and sow seed and, you know, build canals or right? I'm not saying that's not true or that didn't happen at some period in time. I'm just saying, could it be that humans really, that we did that we built a lot of this stuff, and maybe we were working with the galactics? The way that I see stuff, honestly, is, and it just depends on what time period and what you're talking about, but the way that I see it is like, the ancestors show me that, yeah, we worked with the galactics, yeah, we knew all the things, like, and that's another thing, is like, the narrative from the dark agenda, the narrative placed upon humanity for thousands of years, tens of thousands of years now, it's been, you know, basically like, the ancients were basically kind of like, you know, like cavemen, and, you know, and then we had to keep evolving. It was evolution. We had to keep evolving. When what I see and the truth that I know is, fuck no, humans, we were way more advanced and intelligent back then than we are now. In fact, humanity has not evolved, it has devolved. Well, Erica, look at all the technology now, and look at all the breakthroughs in medical science, and look at all the things that they've proven, and look at all the, who's they? Who's they? Who's they? And tune in on your own, right? Yeah, is there amazing things, and we come a long way in so many different ways, and yeah, for sure. But the way my higher selves talk about it is, no. Like, we have absolutely, and I can see it. It's like, to me, it's plain, it's clear as day. We have devolved. We've gotten dumber. We have not gotten smarter, we've gotten dumber. Thank God for the grand rising upon earth and new earth and all the light workers out there and the great awakening and all that, right? Because, I mean, look at you, I mean, look at, and I've been seeing this for decades already, like years and years, like, you know, since I was old enough to realize, like, okay, like fashion and music and all this, it just keeps looping. It's a loop. It's a time loop. It's just a looping program. Like, they run out of ideas. Like, you know, they keep making the same iPhones. Like, they've run out of ideas. They've hit some kind of cap, right? That's how you know the old earth is done. Like, they've hit a cap. So now we're just recreating what's already been created. Now we're just redoing it, or now we're just bringing it back. Okay? You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm just kind of ranting here, but like, not ranting, but like, I'm just kind of going down a little rabbit hole. But my ancestor energy coming through, and what I'm being shown is that the ancients were indeed, obviously, highly intelligent, highly connected, very in tune, very aware, in all ways. And they're like, yeah, we literally built those structures using our third eye, using quantum technology as quantum beings in a human body, because we were so connected. It ain't no thing, you know, like we were moving big slabs and cutting stone, and, you know, but we were doing it with our third eye. Again, am I saying that there weren't certain things done in other ways? Probably so. But I just wanted to ask, what do you think? You know, and do you have any certain remembrance that, you know, you want to share? Okay. FYI, most light workers, like, especially like old soul light workers, right? Like the majority of us on Earth, we were all in Atlantis. We were all there at different points and times, and etc. And a lot of us, we were specifically in the fall of Atlantis. Like, it's not some, you know, like, you know, people will be like, I was in Atlantis. I was there. Newsflash, like, almost every light worker on Earth was in Atlantis. Almost every light worker on Earth had incarnation in Lemuria. Almost every light worker on Earth has, you know, been around during ancient times, very powerful historical moments upon Earth, etc. It's not some, like, I'm superior, I was there, I'm so special, I'm Atlantean. Like, bro. You know? So my point is that since so many were there, and so many have soul recognition, resonance, remembrance. Maybe you're someone that gets a lot of memories of your past lives, Akashic records, different timelines, etc. I do, you know, it's taken years for me to get to that point. Reading other people's Akashic records, very easy. But my own stuff, that's taken more time. And it's always harder to, you know, like for me, like reading myself or going into my past lives, it's so much harder for me than it is to read for other people, like my clients. But anyways, that's what I'm seeing. And so the ancestors were like, yeah, we were tricked because, you know, we were so used to working with the galactics. And then it was like one day these certain type of galactics showed up, and we were kind of like, who are you? Because they didn't have the same resonance of love, of we're here to help. It was very narcissistic. And if you ask me, that's where the narcissistic energy came from. Like, you know, and that's what I'm getting. Like, yeah, we're going to manipulate you. We're going to pretend to be nice. We're going to gaslight you because we know that you're used to working with other galactics. And we are going to play nice. And then at some point, we're going to show you our true colors, and we're going to make you realize that you screwed up by working with us and trusting us, kind of a thing. If that makes sense. But that's how my consciousness and spirit guides and ancestors and stuff are like showing me, you know, especially, it just honestly doesn't matter, but like Stonehenge for me, it's been around since Atlantis, absolutely, hands down. And the way that these structures were created in Atlantis was, yeah, like we had, well, first of all, we were like fully activated, like super fully activated, 12-strand DNA activated, like 144, going insane, okay? Like, it wasn't no thing for us to gather in as a group and put all of our consciousness together and to literally move like, you know, I don't even know, like, you know, in 800-ton stone slab. We moved it with our mind. We didn't touch it. We didn't touch it. Telekinesis, right? Moving objects with the mind. Yeah, we can do that. We can literally do that. We can move a leaf on the ground. We can move a coin on this counter. We can, you know, there's people that bend spoons with their minds. You see that everywhere. Like, it just takes practice and intention and going from a place of the heart and being heart-centered and not in the ego where you're trying to control, etc. But yeah, so anyways, that's what I was getting. Like, they weren't, again, I'm not saying this is the end all be all. That's what I mean. Like, I invite everyone to tune in and be like, well, what do I feel about it? Like, if I really sit down and think, like, okay, who built Atlantis? Who built the Great Pyramids? Who built the megalith structures all over the world, considered now ancient civilizations? A lot of it was galactic. A lot of it, I believe, was, you know, in darker periods and when the control system started setting in, you know, there were certain energies here already that were kind of taking the lead on things. But yeah, and so I feel like a lot of us starseeds and earth angels, I feel like we hold a lot of anger. Okay, not just because of the fall of Atlantis and all that for those who were there, which again, a lot of you were there. That's literally why we came back and were born in the prophecy timeline happening right now on Earth of, I call it reverse Atlantis. It's reverse Atlantis. Everything shut down at the end in Atlantis, and now everything is powered up again. We are reactivated and remembering. And so that's what we came back here for, was to go from the fall and the destruction, which is right now, into the new Earth golden age timelines. And it's going to happen a lot faster than people think. Like, I don't know, people are thinking like, oh, that's so far off, and you know, the revelations is here and everything's happening, and you know, like, no, we're like in it. It's done. Like, now we're going to see the collapse of the 3D, the control systems, the institutions, and all that, because the reptilians, they can't be here anymore. They're already fleeing. They can't be here. They are scared, so scared, and they've lost, and they're not getting their food like they were. And when I say food, I'm talking about the alpha draconians, etc., that live underground, underneath all of us, okay, like in the ground. They're all underneath us, all up underneath us, all over the world. And they have been for, again, tens of thousands of years. And then the ones here on Earth, they're like the lower level ones, you know, like the politicians and, you know, all like the elites and stuff. Like, they're like the minnows in a Shark Tank, okay? They're like the minnows. They're the bottom of the barrel. And then the big dogs, the alphas, they run underground. They run things from underground, and they basically, it's been like, we'll leave y'all alone up there as long as you keep controlling, keep the humans asleep, and keep giving us our food supply. And the food supply, you know, is what we are before we become an adult. Okay, I'll say that. Adolescence. So anyways, I know I just went down a rabbit hole, but I want to know what you guys think, what you guys feel, what you remember. And yeah, remember, there's no right or wrong. There's only resonance.